Shen Wulong claims that there's only a couple other people he has high hopes for, that is in regards to a playmate, characters that have the potential to give him somewhat of a good fight. These include the current peak of the Kengan Association, Kuroki Gensai, Kano Gito and Tokita Oma, and of course the future of the Kengan Association, Koga and Roki. With it being important to note, Wulong hasn't technically met Kure Ryan so far in the story, so perhaps he could be included. However, most people agree at the current point in the story, Kuroki, Kano and Oma are at the top of the Kengan Association. Of course, the almighty beard has always been that guy. Nothing has disproven his top tier status so far in over 300 chapters of Omega. Kano had that loss against Jurota, then pulled up in the Real Champion tournament, defeating Julius, Luohan and Galang, who just defeated Jurota in the same day. Absolutely wild stuff, and we already know everything about Tokita Oma. Bringing us to Shen Wulong's next fight in the Kengan story, against the one most people view as the current main villain, Shen Luohan. Potentially the highest caliber fight we've ever seen is about to occur due to him learning a lot more of Wulong's memories now. Something we get some information about in the latest Kengan Omega chapter, in the sense that Luohan, potentially due to his genetics or maybe martial arts talent, is able to have more memory retention in regards to getting access to all of Wulong's memories. This is compared to Tokita Niko. However, with that said, it's important to note that Niko is still thinking about how or when he should get rid of Luohan, something we've had him think about many times, and highlights that Niko isn't on anyone's side. He's doing whatever can benefit him, and he does claim that he's finally learned it in this chapter, meaning his buff on Wulong's memories has indeed occurred. And Shen Wulong, while scaring the shit out of him, nagging his aura, isn't here to take out Niko to any degree, only here to destroy and take out Luohan, which is going to be disappointing for a lot of you guys. But as I've made clear in probably videos over the last year plus, I didn't invest anything in Luohan. Yes, these recent buffs have made him incredibly strong, definitely within the top 10 strongest right now of all time. However, I didn't think he would be that major, and I do believe Wulong is indeed going to take him out during this clash. More evidence for the rise of Niko in the future once again as the true main villain in all of Kengan, who always has been. But high hopes and excitement for this clash has occurred, and while most of us reading Kengan are assuming Wulong will win without a doubt, I just hope we get him somewhat challenged throughout his battle against Luohan, as the connector getting yet again another low diff dub will pretty much continue the trend of Kengan villains getting done dirty, and highlight how the Kengan Association is cooked in the upcoming Kengan match, which has more evidence pointing towards the fight being in a gauntlet format, where as many fighters as they desire can actually challenge Wulong in a 1v1 potentially. For example, round 1 will be Wulong vs Wakatsuki, round 2 Wulong vs Kano Gito, etc, etc, where the final fight will likely be Tokita Oma vs Shen Wulong, where they may be able to defeat him. However, even with that setup, how strong the connector has been set up is still quite concerning, and he may stomp all of them for all we know, regardless of every fighter getting stronger over the last few time skips in recent arcs. However, apart from all that, we recently got a conversation between Ohma and Kiryu Setsuna, which pretty much confirmed everything in regards to Ohma's master's death. Stuff most of us had already come to a conclusion about, how Tokita Niko was the one who pretty much hired Genzan, and Genzan being the one to kill Ohma's master in the end after the crazy battle was pretty much set up by Niko as well, highlighting that his villainous activities and tactics when it comes to battle is much more enhanced and menacing compared to really anyone else in the Kengan story. But as a whole, the conversation between Kiryu and Ohma was quite good, and I do wonder what Kiryu's role will be in the foreseeable future with this, I guess, quite sus panel after their conversation concluded. But coming back to Shen, he's absolutely goated in every regard, but all the issues I've gone over in previous videos still remain. He's a great individual character, but his effect on the entire King story cannot be ignored, and based on certain events and how they play out, we could be seeing those issues to the utmost degree, or maybe Sandro will be able to fix the Kengan story. But if you haven't already, check out Moku, the mad lad who's been providing these goated peak Kengan colorings for quite some time. His Instagram is always linked in the description. But this fight should very well be the strongest Kengan fight we have ever seen in the entire story. With some of you in the comments saying, if these two don't have the dopest fight so far, I'm leaving this series. Dude just walked in like honey I'm home. Bro isn't wrong, but I don't know about dropping the series after going through over 500 chapters with Ashura and Omega combined. And I do believe Wulong is going to kill Luohan here, and that's going to be the end of him. I just hope we get a crazy fight with the high stakes and of course next level degree of power both of them wield, with some questioning the possibility of Luohan just killing Shen here, which is something I highly doubt. But it seems as though Luohan does have the confidence, as he is the one who directly challenges Wulong here. It could have been a situation where if he played it off nicely, Wulong probably would have left. I'm not gonna lie, based on like the way he was acting. But due to Luohan saying this, bloodlust being throughout the air as the key factor that's going to result in these two fighting, and of course Wulong likely defeating and taking out Luohan. But we can only hope it's a crazy and close fight, with my multi-year long investments against Luohan finally paying off, as Luohan is killed by Wulong here, removing him completely from the story, highlighting why people shouldn't be betting on him. Of course I could be wrong, but I've been waiting for moments like this. I didn't really think it would happen this soon, considering we already had the Kengan matches set up for Wulong. However, if the fight does officially begin, as it could just be bait once again, an aspect that would be unfortunate, but always possible considering this is Kengan we're talking about. But I will make it clear that it's very possible that Luohan at the current minute is the second strongest Kengan character we have had of all time, only after the Connector himself. But we're gonna have to wait and see the fight, and of course the future fights to see if that is indeed the case. But if you haven't already, consider becoming a member like these absolute mad lads. Check out this playlist with all the other Kengan content, including recent videos most of you guys missed unfortunately. But that's it guys, peace.